Hello, this is Jay playing Oxygen Not Included, and welcome to one of my massive experiments. Today I'm going to be seeing how much meat we can get from a variety of critters. I've got a number of stables, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Each of them are going to be producing a little bit of meat that's sent over here, and I'm going to be storing that in these little containers, a separate one for each of the critters, and we're going to be counting how much meat I get over 100 cycles. You get an idea of how much meat rather a cycle each one of these can produce. What critters do we have? On the bottom, I've got a Volmole. Next is a Pep. There's a Puff in this room. Then we've got a Sweetle. We've got a Hatch. We've got a Drecko. And from the Frosty Planet Pack, we've got a Mammoth and a Flox. I'm going to take you through how each of these stables are set up, but first, how about I introduce you to the team. So in the living area next to all these stables, we've got some washrooms. We've got some Atmo suits. I did that just so that dupes don't get their feet wet or breathe carbon dioxide out or get too chilly in a cold room and all that stuff. So they're protected. There's 8 of them. They've got cots to be able to sleep in, place to eat, a great hall. They should have everything taken care of for them down here. We've got a system to provide them with water, power, all their needs. I printed food. All I want them to do is just do ranching. So each of these guys has an interest in suit wearing and ranching. And if we go to their skills, everyone has critter ranching too, so they have it pretty easy. We are just going to blocking them from going in just yet. I'm just waiting for the last Atmo suit dock to charge up. But while that's happening, maybe I will go through the actual stables themselves. I'll start off by introducing you to the general design for each of these stables. We've got a fire pole ladder that gives access to a door. We always have a stable on the left side, and it's a big enough size for the critter that's in there. And of course, we've got a grooming station, generally at the entrance. We've got a drop-off station to be able to repopulate it. We're going to have this set up so that we only ever have one critter at a time. It may not always be the same critter, but there'll be one in there. And then we'll have a set of auto sweepers and a conveyor loader that's going to take eggs out. And those eggs are dropped off over here. So that is the general setup. There's going to be some sensors. We've got a critter counter. This is going to tell us whether or not we need to be able to pick up new critters that are over here. We also have another critter sensor that is going to tell us if there's a problem. So if we're missing a critter, and we're missing the critter for a good amount of time, it's going to scream at me. That shouldn't happen, but if it does, I'll be alerted to that fact. So primarily, it's just one critter sensor that's going to control this critter pickup. So then we've got our eggs showing up over here. And then we've got a room that's generally right after the critter or the stable. We're just making sure that the floor here is not accessible by any of the auto sweepers in any of these rooms. That's an important rule. That's why sometimes you'll see that kind of a double door setup. But the role is this is just to store critters for repopulation. They're just hanging out here, and I've got this critter sensor looking for both eggs and critters of 10 or less. And if that's so if we've got below 10, it's going to open this door, meaning this auto sweeper can take eggs that are going to be created here and send them over in this little room. That is going to just give us some critters that, if we need to, can be picked up and sent in this room. If not, well, critters are being converted to meat. When they are converted to meat, they're being hauled off over here. Okay, so that is the generic setup of each of these rooms. I'll go through each one in turn, and then we'll get things started. Let's start with some of the specialty stuff I have for each of these rooms. The Volmole has lots and lots of dirt. I'm not seeing lots of dirt. Oh, there it is. Yes. Massive amount of dirt right here. That is the diet of what these things, this thing eats. So that's one specialty set up here. Oh, it also can escape unless you've got special tiles. In this case, I'm using bunker tiles and doors. And another special thing this critter does is it creates tiles, which I don't want it to, so I've got a robo miner right here. I don't want this robo miner to be in the room though, because, well, what if it were to lay a tile right there and knock out the robo miner? Not cool. So that is the specialty setup for that. I also should mention, I think this is important too, that my storage of meat is insulated area with extremely cold hydrogen gas. So that meat that lands there is not going to go bad. Alright, off to the pip. So this is the pip stable. The only thing that is really special is its food source. It has, in this case, thimbleweed that's growing wild. Pips drop a little bit of dirt, not really interested in that in this case. But this guy can hang around here. I do have a temperature test. This is more for the thimbleweed. Just want to make sure that it's warm enough. If it's not, I'm going to be alerted to that fact. But I think I've set up the temperature. Actually, let's look at the temperature. Everything's around 25 degrees. Except for some of the specialty areas up there, which we'll get to next. Because this area is a little bit wider than the Volmol, we've got numerous auto sweepers. And again, just making sure the eggs that are here are not being picked up from that, because, well, that would not be good. Next is the puff, and this actually needs a little bit more work yet. I've got tons and massive amount of polluted oxygen for this thing to breathe. But it's going to have a preference over time, I suspect, to get a prince egg. Critter has 46% chance of laying a prince egg because it's alone. So I'm not accounting yet for the fact that I'm repopulating either the regular puffs or the prince, because I don't. Let me just double check. Yeah, we don't have the prince puff eggs. So I'm going to have to come back at some point and make sure that's clicked on. Otherwise, this could be completely messed up and we might lose our critters. But anyways, that's one thing to say. And another thing is, again, their food source is polluted oxygen. And I think that is it regarding the puff. Next two rooms are very similar. We've got the Sweetle, and I've got this auto sweeper set up so we can't access eggs over here. Sweetles eat sulfur, so there is that. And then up here, we've got our hatch. Pretty much identical setup, except for dirt in that end. So we'll see what we get out of these two setups. And then we get over to the Drecko. And they actually need to eat the plant itself, similar to how the pip eats the plant itself. So we've got some wild plants. Unfortunately, things need to be a little bit warm. Well, it's not that big a deal. But just insulating around here, we've got this double airlock just so that we don't leak heat out, causing issues everywhere else, or cooling these plants off such that they don't grow. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We just had to extend this a little bit further, like the pip room. So we've got two auto sweepers. We've got, why do I have two conveyor rails? I mean, I guess I don't. Okay, that is unnecessary, but it is what it is. It'll work. All right. Well, let's go with the next two, which is part of the Frosty Planet pack. We've got the Mammoth. Now, the Mammoth eats these types of plants that need to be very cold, so obviously insulating around here. I'm not doing any harvesting. Figured we'll make it easy on the dupes. But these are going to land and be picked up and dropped off. Let's just validate that that's actually the case. Yeah, being dropped off here. So this guy's going to get lots of plume squash to be able to eat. And yeah, this stuff needs to be pretty cold. And then up here, it's very similar. This guy, I could have done the same thing with pike apple, but I figure, you know what? I'm just going to get enough wild stuff in here for this guy to grow. In both cases, we've got an egg pickup that's hitting any eggs that are dropped off down there. Okay, so that is the setup. I'm going to just do one final check, and then I'll open the doors so that we can start this thing. Are you guys ready? Alright, so right now I have critters that are all wild, so I'm not going to start the timer from this point on. I'm going to let things get warmed up a little bit. Let's give access. Hold on. Just want to make sure that we don't get caught in such a situation where, oh yeah, people are on different schedules anyway. That's all good. Perfect. All right. I didn't know if I had everyone the same schedule or not. Actually, yeah, no, I think that is important. I don't want to have everyone the same schedule so that we can minimize the amount of interruption of dupes, essentially, or critters not being groomed. So we're doing some grooming. I don't think we've got enough stables for each one of these critters, but it's all right because they're quickly going to go from critter to critter. In a real setup, there is going to be some sort of delay. So we can calculate some degree how much meat you're going to get. You can look at how quickly eggs are produced, and that changes per critter. Actually, maybe we'll look at that once we have tame versions. But there are some outages that makes the math a little bit more complicated. That's why I'm thinking this sort of test be interesting to see what we get out of it, because sometimes these critters live on for a certain amount of time and they don't have enough time to lay an egg. Other times there's grooming downtime. That should be minimized in this particular setup because these guys are pretty much going to do some grooming as soon as available. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see what actual real numbers we get over 100 cycles. As I mentioned, I don't want to start the timer from now. So I'm going to go off and wait for everyone to become a non-wild or tame version of critter. And then I also have to make sure there's a certain number of eggs that are in here. Like, you know, the system's warmed up. That's going to take an uneven amount of time because critters lay eggs at different rates. And then I've got to address the Prince Puff situation. Once I have all of that in place, I'll start the timer. And I'm going to set this for 100 cycles. And then we'll see what the results are. Very excited. We are now on cycle 10. Let's just take a quick moment to look at two things. First of all, we've got tame versions, the critters. I'm going to look at the total change of each of the essentially reproduction. So every cycle, this critter in particular is going to get 17% increase to the reproduction. When it reaches 100%, they lay an egg. So 17% per cycle for the vole. That's not the same for every other critter. We've got the pip here, also at 17. We've got the puff, 22% for them. Oh, Sweetle, there you are. Sweetle is 22. We've got our hatch at 17. We've got our Drecko at 11%. Then we've got the Mammoth at 8%. And the Flox at 17%. Each of these critters, you can see how much meat we're going to get from them. For instance, you can click on the pip and go on the database and see how much meat is going to be dropped. And using those two things, you can get a general estimate how much meat you're going to get per cycle. But I noticed another problem. Normally I have this setup working. And it works well. I've tested this before, but it works with a full stable. Sometimes multiple stables. I'm going to be bringing in 10 eggs at a time, regardless of what I put in here. That's because the auto sweeper is going to be picking up 10 eggs at a time. And then always throwing that over here. So I'm going to get too many eggs, essentially, in each of these setups. It just means that a lot of the meat... Oh, hold on. Maybe if I just... The problem is I'm going to get meat over here as well. But what I actually might do is completely change out all these rooms for a way to actually indicate exactly how many eggs I want to capture. So I'm going to put in a design. I'll be back shortly with that. Here's the change I made. Went a little bit lower tech. So this is going to involve the dupes, but not a really big problem. We've got actually 2 incubators in each of the rooms now, and a critter sensor that's going to look if anything's below 2. If it is below 2, we'll allow these things to be on. And I've selected a particular type of egg in each of the rooms. We've got a shovel egg here, pip egg here, and actually nicely I'm able to select the puff prints. So as long as if you actually lay puff prints egg, 74%, yeah, I think we're going to be fine with that particular setup. And so on, Sweetle egg, hatch egg, Drecko, and so on. And I just put in a single conveyor loader. This is the one that's picking up meat. So whether we get meat here or from in here, that's going to count in this process. And of course our critter pickup, which is set to be 0, and that's going to be running based on whether or not we need to restock the stable with 1 critter. Alright, well, I'll let this run for a bit. We'll get our eggs warmed up. I'm not going to record again from, or start the meat count from this point. But, yeah, let me run this a little bit, and we'll see if we at least have some eggs populated in these incubators correctly. We have our first egg in one of the incubators that's sitting right there. By the way, I'm not powering the incubators on. They're just for holding eggs. That's no surprise since the Sweetle has a, 22% reproduction rate. But so does Puff. And, okay. So we were unlucky. That's funny. Let's see. We had a high chance of getting a Prince Puff egg, but it didn't end up working out that way. I'm going to cancel one of these just to keep on with the pace of the other critters here. And we'll just verify that someone's going to reach down and move that over. So this is basically what happens when this signal is sending true and there's an egg available. The egg gets picked up and sent over here. I think at some point I could probably change these both to the Prince Puff eggs, especially given the chance of such a high chance of Prince eggs, but we'll run it with both for now and see how we get on that. Alright, I'll be back once we've got a few more eggs and some of the other critters that take a little bit longer to lay their eggs. I see multiple eggs in a few of these places, but there is a few problems. First of all, hatch eggs are not populated, and we are still waiting for the Bambini egg, because this guy only produces eggs much slower than everyone else. But I see that this Mr. Pip has laid a Cuddle Pip egg. I'm not selecting that there. The chance of that happening, I'm getting unlucky with this, but let's see, where is that critter? Pip eggs, that I mean 31%, it is possible. I'm going to just move this egg in the old-fashioned way. I'm going to also remove this and go to a Puff Prince egg, assuming that that's mostly what we're going to get. But we're going to keep that egg in there. And whoa, I'm realizing I should not have fed this guy some dirt, because that is, I mean, unless I want to go with Sage Hatch version, which I could, but I think I'll not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this over. Actually, I wonder. I think otherwise, yeah, I don't want to get out of balance with all the other critters. So we'll move that in there. And you know what? We'll just go with Sage Hatch for this test. I should have just put in something like sandstone. But anyway, that's all right. Okay, so that's going to move. If I'm going to do that, I guess I've got to fully do this. Or I could change out their material. Okay, I'll think about that one. In here, I see some polluted, or we're going to have some rot piles. That's fine. Oh, whoa. Okay, I didn't realize you haven't laid anything either. What's going on, bud? Production, 11%. And let's just see if there's an egg. I just can't. What's going on with you? Okay, I was not expecting this critter. I mean, something has gone wrong. Okay, I think I might need to roll back 11% per cycle is what this critter should be. And they should have lots of food because some of the food's going bad. And this guy produces eggs slower, and he has an egg. Let's verify if dupes can actually access inside here. They can. Do we have automation? This is not quite... I bet we have an egg in there. You see that's not connected? But I bet you if I can... Oh, it's nor was it connected there. Yeah, look at that. Now, unfortunately, that means that egg is a little bit behind schedule. You know what? I'm going to roll back and clean things up. We're going to fix this situation so that he's in balance with everyone else. And I'm going to roll back so that we're not feeding this guy dirt. So I've rolled back to cycle 10. And I've put in some sandstone here in replace of the dirt. So we should be getting hatch eggs from that guy. We'll see if I'm going to get the same mix match here with these cuddle pips and the puff eggs. But anyways, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I made sure that the Drecko stable here does not have two confusing conveyor loaders. We just have one here designated for egg pickup. This is picking up meat. Oh, that must have been a multi-select. That would explain why that one definitely did not go create anything. Speaking of which, what happens when meat gets lands in here? Oh, right. That's right. I remember now. I'm actually having each of these. That wasn't just a mistake. Each of these is also picking up meat. And if it's not, I need to fix that. Okay, I need to fix that. So we're counting meat that drops in the stable as well. What's going to happen is, I'll go patch this up now. But we're collecting critter eggs of any type. But we're also collecting meat that's dropped. Because once these guys expire, that's also meat that we'll get. So what's going to happen is that meat is going to find its way over here. Be dropped off here. And then this auto sweeper will pick it up and send it in here. Alright. Let me just, I'll go apply that on all the other stables. We've got this little setup here that needs to be, oh, we'll just simply apply that and that will be set. Let's just do this now or else there's a chance I might forget. That. And that down there. Okay. All right. Well, let's run this again and produce our first few eggs. Okay, I see a normal hatch egg that has landed there. Let's just check the hatch themselves. They've got 79% normal egg. Okay, that is good. Sweetle eggs are set, and we got a puff eggs, though that is... Oh, sorry, a puff prince egg, and we did get a just normal puff egg. Let's see, just check the chance of... different types of egg, still in favor of the prince egg. So I'm going to keep this to be selected at prince puff eggs. But again, let's just throw that in there. Double check that I have drop off of either type. Oh, we don't have prince puff egg here on our list. Okay, I'm going to have, that's going to be important to do. To come back once, I guess once this guy here hatches. So that's going to be in about 20 cycles or so. Alright, so there's that. We've got a Volmole. Oh, another issue here. We've got the Cuddle Pip egg. I don't think... Oh, I probably, again, for the same reason, I can't select Cuddle Pip. But I will... And I'll just throw that in there the manual way. Okay, so we've got one Pip egg. We've got two of these eggs over here. Assume that that Pip is ready to 50%. Unless there's two eggs. I would almost expect it. No? Okay. Alright, I guess we just have one of those eggs. Just one hatch egg. One hatch egg. Drecko, what happened? Okay, you just put one in there. I'm assuming that hit the ground. Do we not have... That should have been picked up from here. Unless that's maybe where... just validate that we're also collecting meat. Okay, I'm actually not sure if he collected. If he collected it from there, that was fine. If he collected it there, maybe he just beat the auto sweeper. Anyway, that's completely fine. Either way, needs to end up in that location where it is. Mammoth doesn't have an egg yet, but that's just because he produces eggs so slowly. Alright, so I still have to wait for a little bit more loading. I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll have a look at where things stand. So we've got 2 Bimini eggs, plus eggs in every other stable, and I noticed an issue. Okay, so we've got too many critters here, and I'm wondering how did that happen, because I was thinking I've got this disabling these 2 machines when we've got below 2, so we should only have a maximum 2. You can see we've got, and that's a combination both critters and eggs, but we've got 3 in here. How did that happen? Well, let me just remove this. And then, well, actually, it doesn't really matter. I'll just leave that on the floor. But here's the problem. I have that as incubate. I'm thinking, well, the dupes aren't going to touch that because this thing is disabled. Soon as... Oh, it didn't actually... Oh, no, the dupes touch it, too. Okay, I saw an auto sweeper load in an egg. Alright, now I'm seeing the issue. The problem is, I did not realize that disabling the incubator just means that no one will attend to them. Well, they're not plugged in anyway, so they'll still be populated with eggs. And I'm just wondering if that's going to cause an issue or not. I'll have to think about that, and I'll see if I want to tweak anything up. Alright, don't know how this is going to work, but I'll give it a test. So I put, instead of using the automation connection, we're actually going to open the door. So while a critter, so I've got in every room, if the count is above 3, then we're going to have this door open up. So we'll stop providing eggs, either via dupe or auto sweeper. So that should give us 3 critters for each of these rooms. We'll make sure that we've got eggs everywhere. Oh, I think I may have deleted some of the eggs. Oh, including your eggs in the process of setting this all up. Okay, well, I guess we're just going to have to wait for more Mammoth eggs out of this guy. Before letting this roll, I should actually just give this a proper test. I'm going to remove this egg. And let's say I were to change the logic, but there was enough 3 critters in here, the door would open. If this was actually set to load in Flox Flan, will either the auto sweeper or a dupe... Ah, excellent. Okay. I think one other thing I'm going to do, I'm a little bit concerned that all the critters are kind of in different phases, and we've got different number of eggs. I've deleted random eggs, so I think I'm actually going to go clean everything up, go back, freshly start with critters that are wild, clear out the eggs. I don't think the egg situation matters, just so that we don't get any noise. I'm going to run a cycle, or 100 cycles, and then I'm going to run another 100 cycles, just to... see if there's any noise between the difference in terms of how much meat we're able to get from each of these setups. So I'm going to go through and... oh yeah, we'll have, we don't have our... That's fine. I'll just put in a regular puff there, and we'll get started. What I just did, I replaced all the critters with wild version, so everyone is at the same point. I'm going to collect all eggs here. See, we'll do... Oh, I cannot select everything. Oh, I see, because I'm doing that. Let's do this instead. And then I'll just destroy all these eggs once they're all collected. And I don't really care if there's an initial set of eggs or not, other than the fact that I just want to make sure that this guy gets the Prince Puff egg in there. So everyone's being attended. Oh, hold on. Enable that. And I gotta get the settings back. The ones that I have interrupted here. I went and removed all the eggs. So dupes have collected them here. I've destroyed them, so there are no critter eggs in the world. We are at, let's see, just under 70% wildness. When that gets down to 0, we'll start this whole thing off. The birth rate, or the rate they lay eggs, is different from each critter, but their wildness is pretty much the same. Change from groom effect minus 55, or getting a total of 50% reduction every cycle. So it takes about 2 cycles to go through this process. Anyway, once it's done, I'll officially start the clock and start counting 100 cycles. Just watching this Flox go from wild down to a tame critter. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. There we are. So we've got a tame Flox anyways. What about you? You're tame. Tame. Okay, so we've got tame critters all the way through. Nice thing is, they're all at the same age. They should have very similar, a little bit wildness being removed from this critter, but I'm going to say that's close enough for this test. We don't have any eggs, but as long as it's consistent, then I think that's going to be a good thing. They're starting with their reproduction of different percentages, but that's just how they work. All right, well, I think everything is set. I'll be back at a couple points just to make sure this test is all running healthily. But let's give the countdown. So we're going to actually start counting down 100 cycles. I'll be alerted. The game will stop at that point. And then I'll show you the results. After letting my game run for a while, I realize we are in trouble. I've got this piece of dirt blocking this door, so this pip is glum. And we've got these vole moles running around, causing a mess. That is because I didn't put any metal tiling or bunker tiles around here. So I'm going to go back, reload, and fix that. But let's just check on everyone else. Everything here looks normal. Vole mole found its way up here. Oh, the Flox in this stable is having a bit of an issue. That might happen in other stables too. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think I just need to raise this, but I'm going to make that change in all the stables. Okay, going back to the start again with those changes. So after that failure, I think I'm ready to go again. I've upped the location of the incubator, so we got some extra space down here for Flox. Hopefully they're not going to get stuck. I did the same thing with the Mammoth, extra space for them since they're a little bit tall, worried they'll get stuck. Other critters, I'm not so concerned. They just have 1 tile spacing underneath the door. We'll see how that goes. And, oh yeah, we got bunker tiles fully encasing this little area. Oh. That is also a concern. Hold on just a second. Okay, glad I caught that potential little mishap that might have been happening. Let me see. All the critters, again, refreshed. They are just starting to reproduce. We've got tame versions all across. No eggs in existence at the moment. Oh yeah, I haven't actually selected all the egg incubators. Whoops. Okay, I'll do that in a sec. Alright, now that I have indicated the right type of egg to put in each of these, we are ready to go once again. Is this going to work? I don't know, but I'm going to let you know the results either way. Let's start counting down 100 cycles. We are at cycle 10 of 100. I'm doing a quick check here. Every stable has an egg, except for the Mammoth egg. But that's just because this guy produces eggs slower, though it's at 89%, so there'll be a Mammoth egg in there soon enough. Got lots of food for everyone. We've got critters still intact. Dupes are existing. Okay, let's keep going. Made it to cycle 34, and I've been alerted to a missing critter. Which critter was that? That's the Mammoth. I suspect there was not enough food for them. Let's just roll back. Yeah, this is cycle 68. A cycle 2, and we'll see what has been going on. Roll back to cycle 67. And yes, we have a starving critter here. Mammoth is not happy. We've got plume squash here that's at 97%. I think what I need to do, first of all, I need to roll back before the point that this critter is started starving. We need to open this up. I'll do that in such a way that we get an airlock so we keep it nice and cool in here. And we'll allow some harvesting, which I don't have going on at the moment to fix this. But I don't think I have to go back to the very beginning. So now I've added a vacuum entry area to give access to the dupes over here. And we're going to be doing some harvesting on these plants. We'll see if allowing harvesting, which I'm pretty sure it will provide enough food for a Mammoth. I'm also now concerned about my setup of egg storage. You've seen here as I had a Flox that got stuck. That's why I raised this. But having another look at this, well, specifically for the Mammoth eggs, or Bimini eggs, what happens if this guy lands there, and this guy needs to be replaced? This critter can't actually jump down. I think that's maybe the only critter that's kind of caught in that weird exception, because everyone else, every other critter, I believe, can, well, this one just flies around, can jump down. So this may only apply to that, though there is one subtle thing, and maybe this would impact this guy here, is technically the sensor, I think, is looking for the room it's in terms of the number of critters to determine whether this is open or not. When this critter flies, like imagine this door is open, no, we don't need any more, the sensor's gonna think that critter's gone, even for a brief point, just adding in eggs. So, oh my goodness, I'm thinking what I should have just done is I should have just put a simple process of every room should just have one incubator that's always full. Every room has an egg. It might have a bunch of critters in there from hatched versions, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to be caught in too many of these weird exceptions. So I've got this set up. That's great. Let me go simplify my incubator, and then we'll continue on with our test. I have modified my egg storage room. So every room essentially has an incubator that's going to be pulling out the appropriate type of egg. We've got an auto sweeper. I'm just worried in a couple cases that, okay, in this case, I know that this mini egg's going to go in here. But I'm a little bit worried that this egg might get pulled in here. We'll have kind of an uneven start. I'm just going to watch this go down. I'm suspect this egg's going to be seen first. They're definitely going to throw that in. Come on, Ellie. You know what to do. Yeah. Excellent. Same thing down here. Okay, I just didn't want things to be thrown off by my little change. Okay, so the rule then is basically there's always one. And this is that situation I was talking about. Okay, we got unlucky down here for some reason. Let me just mop that up. But that's fine. You know what? What was the egg? This is 69. And this egg is... That one's almost about to hatch. Like, literally, we should be able to watch that hatch. I think if that were the case, this egg got in here just the tiniest bit early. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no power, no power. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. Oh, no, don't hug, don't hug, don't. These are just egg holders. Okay, this was the old... Okay, yeah, I'm glad I caught that. Let's make sure we get power disconnect. They're just... Oh, and I forgot. Okay, I'll come back and do that. Do that over here as well. We are not actually just letting eggs naturally do their thing. What's I doing here? Oh, I was just moving that egg. Okay. Alright, so power off, power off, power off. I'll just make this a little tweak for this room as well. And then I think we can get back at it. No double eggs. Let me go back to the Volma. Yeah, so this guy hatched. So at this point, if this had been the egg that was in there, then that egg was going to be thrown in anyway. So that is all good. Let me just... I think I missed this just because this one was further over. Okay, so I've got this set up here. I just need to specify Drecko egg. There's no power in there. Auto sweeper could access. I think the problem is since the dupes have nothing to do, they override the auto sweeper, which I kind of think is something that should not work that way in this game. Even if you had idle dupes, right now I could have this egg in there, and I'm causing the dupe to walk all over here. An auto sweeper clearly could have done that. Oh well. Just a kind of thing I wish didn't happen in this game. Let's check. We've got egg, we've got egg, we've got egg, we've got egg, all the way down. Fantastic. Okay, so that's our setup. We changed the egg process. I think that is just going to be less of an issue. And by the way, in case you're curious why I'm not just putting incubator in the stable itself, first of all, we don't want to overcrowd. Oh, no. We're starving. How much plume squash do you need? Apparently a lot. Maybe it's the fact that I wasn't harvesting for the longest time. Okay. I think I just need to push in more plume squash to get things warmed up. No, that is not the problem. We've got backed up plume squash. I didn't even notice that. Where is this? Oh, okay. That would explain what's going on. Plume squash. Don't worry, bud. Your food is in there, so we have a small interruption here. Come on, come on, come on. Dump this in, dump this in. Go eat, go eat, go eat. Why are you not eating? Oh, there you are. There you go. There you go. Okay, so many little details to worry about in this setup today. But I think we are good. So maybe I didn't actually have to do the harvesting. But I'm going to continue to harvest anyways, because what's it going to hurt? Alright, back to it. Okay. More problems. At cycle 37, I just noticed that this guy has a body temperature that's too high. I think I misunderstood what was going on. It says comfortable range is between 30 and 70 degrees, and I mean it's 28, so it's actually a little bit cooler, but that's the body temperature, not the outside temperature. I mean, this guy is obviously well insulated. So he actually would do better in a cooler environment, similar to what I have set up with the Flox. Now the Flox also need to stay cool, but their comfort range is a little bit lower, but you can kind of see they don't have the insulation. I'm not sure if putting them or taking their coat off would do anything if we did a shearing station in there. Anyway, I'm gonna have to redesign this setup. Maybe I'll, yeah, I'm gonna completely redo this stable, and we've got to start all over again. So this is my new Mammoth stable. We've got a critter here, which is in a much cooler place. Hopefully their temperature is going to go down. I have refreshed every critter. We're going to get rid of any egg or any excess critters, so we're at kind of our ground zero again with one critter. Every one of these is age 0, currently wild. Oh yeah, that's fine, because temporarily that's being taken out. So we just want to do a full removal of eggs, extermination. And, well, yeah, we better remove the meat that has been piling up in a few. It's just those two. Because they lay eggs quicker. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on. I want to make sure we're all at the same starting point. If we're going to go again. Just watching this guy. So currently they're wild, so I don't think the temperature situation is going to matter. They're in a cold zone, so they're going to go down. We'll see here another cycle once all the critters are no longer wild, if everything is starting off well or not. Oh, hold on. A few more of these to go through. Oh, and we get the meat. Oh, why wasn't that meat picked out? Oh, I can see we're... No, shoot. So many little details. Okay. We're slowly getting there. Now, who knows whether the next run is going to be the official run or not, but I'll keep going until I can get what I think is a clean run. So we can evaluate how much meat we get per cycle for each one of these guys. I think we are ready to go. We're just waiting for every critter to become wild again. But I've cleared out the meat and removed all eggs and all... Oh, hold on, hold on. That's just because I have repaired a missing auto sweeper right there. Okay, so all the meat's gone. All the excess eggs are gone. All the excess critters. So we just have one critter in every stable. Currently wild. I'll be back once they're all tamed. We'll reset the clock, and I'll let it go for 100 cycles. I think there might be one more thing to attend to. This guy is still hit with a body high temperature. And I see the temperature change is going up, despite the fact that they're in a really cool place. I'm going to take 3 of these away, and we're going to add in a shearing station so that we can see what effect. Anytime I ever have these guys in the stable, I always shear them. Maybe that's a requirement I did not know about. Where am I? Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong place here on a shearing station. Okay, we'll plug this in. I'll wait for this guy to get sheared, and I'll see if the temperature starts going down. Because it is going up. I say it's going up. It's pretty much at a standstill. Change per second is on the increase. Okay, let's shear them and see what happens. It shouldn't take too long, actually. Since all our dupes are available, this critter's being called in. And watch this make the critter too cold. Hold on. Change won't necessarily be instant. Well, I don't know that anything has changed. Still have high body temperature. Well, I don't know. Let me let that sit for a cycle or two. We'll let them become tame and see if we still have the same problem or not. We are ready to start things off. So everyone is tamed. Let's reset the clock. So I'll be notified once this hits 100. Our Mammoth is cool enough. Say cool enough. I think that 70 is the comfortable range is up to 70. 69.8. Wow. But I think they're slowly going down, despite the fact that change per second kind of indicates that it's going up very, very, very slowly. But maybe that's kind of wrong. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on this guy over the next little bit. But yeah, no meat right now. No eggs. That's the first thing that's going to happen is one egg is going to be populated in each one of these. And if all goes well this time, or maybe I have to do another redesign, I'll be able to tell you how much meat I'm going to get from each of these setups. Oh, I'm just going to also see if I'm doing harvesting. I'm not. Yeah, that's right. That's another test, actually. Is this going to be enough? I'm pretty sure. I think we only need about 16 or so. This should definitely be enough for one Mammoth. I made it to cycle 73, and I've got missing critter warning. What is going on? Let's check our Mammoth. Mammoth is all right. 63 degrees. They can go to 30s. Not that. We've got a Drecko. Oh, we're just about to. Wait. Oh, duh. Okay. I'm gonna roll back, maybe 2 cycles or so. Make this a little fix, and then we'll be back to it. So I'm at the point before this critter expired. We can see they are elderly. What I want to do is have Prince Puff selected here. I'll do both, but I think we're only going to get Prince Puffs, which is fine. As long as that's set for Prince Puff, this guy should be repopulated. Now, if I was managing a base, I would see that this guy is going to only last, what, 2 more cycles? It increases 22%. It's not going to get another egg, so I might as well destroy it. But that would be interfering. I just want to see if you just naturally leave things, what happens over time. So that's it. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just looking at the other eggs that are here. We've got meat. This is good. Does anyone not have meat, actually? That would be kind of a sign. Even the Mammoth. So the Mammoth. Okay. They really produce stuff that slowly. Crammed. I mean, that's fine because they're not the... as long as you're not crammed. You've got 20... Yeah, it is just a slow process. I think the first one expires probably going to be this guy. Let's see, 73. We might not get meat. I might have to run this a lot more than 100 cycles for that particular critter. Anyways, we got our Drecko that has... Does anyone other than the Mammoth not have meat? Okay, everyone else does. Alright, I'm going to have to think about this because this guy produces meat so slowly. But we are eventually going to get... Oh yeah, I forgot. What's going to happen here? Actually, this won't be the first bit of meat in 200 cycles. Never mind, forget that. What's going to happen is... eventually, we're going to get an egg here. This is going to be the first piece of meat from this stable. It's 53. Unless it gets hauled in over here. That's maybe partially what's going on. But if that's the case, then it'll this actually no. I don't even know if this critter will fit in here and drown, or will they? Well, I guess that's something I'm going to find out. But if it does drown, that'll be our first piece of meat in I guess 10-ish cycles. Well, we've made it to cycle 100 on this little test, but there may be one strange thing that I've noticed. We've got meat everywhere in each of these places. We're going to look at exactly how much, except for there's no meat over here. And I have 2 theories. One is that maybe we just haven't seen the first egg not be pulled in here, but create meat. That would possibly be this egg when it gets to 100%. Or, and I don't think this is the case, but I need to be absolutely certain. I'm not sure if these guys can fit in here, and when they hatch, they're thrown out. I don't think that's the case. But I'm going to actually just, to be absolutely certain, going to roll forward till we actually see this thing hatch and just verify that this is actually going to go to meat. But at this point in time, we don't have meat. After I do that, I've done a save here. I'm going to come back and then we'll look at the numbers. Literally just been egg watching. Occurs to me that the incubation process is only 3% for this particular egg. That could also be part of the process. Not just the fact that we're slow to produce the eggs, but the eggs take a long time to hatch. But nonetheless, still my guess that this egg is going to be the first egg, unless this one, hold on. Get out of the way there, bud. This egg's at 68. Yeah, so... And I think this is going to be our first piece of meat. But I'll still verify. in just a little bit. Okay, the critter has just hatched. Oh, that's right. You get a Bimini egg. Or a critter. And that's much smaller. Anyway, yeah, no, okay. It just happened to be the case that in 100 cycles, since you put a brand new critter that has just become tame with 0 productivity on their reproduction, you won't get any meat in this particular setup. Maybe if I had restricted the number of critters in here, it's somehow different, but it would be a little bit different number. Okay, this does make me think, though. I probably shouldn't just look at the total meat that is inside here. We should... Oh, it's kind of... That is bizarre. Okay, I thought I saw that before. There's a reason I put a double door there. This guy doesn't appear to be escaping, but somehow this critter is able to create a dirt tile right there. But you're being groomed. The only thing that's kind of strange is there's no pips in here. And we've got cuddle pip, cuddle pip. Could that simply... That is a little strange. Every stable has a bunch of critters. Except for this pip. I'm wondering if it was actually, it had gone starving, maybe? Is this not enough? Or is this, does this have anything to do with a cuddle pip? So I'm only selecting pip eggs. Alright, I need to think about this. Okay, after reasoning this through, the only thing I can think is that we don't have an issue with this pip. This pip is producing eggs as per normal. We're getting reproduction. But the pips that are coming out of this thing are starving as they're going through here, and they just all happen to starve, and we're just at a cycle right now where we've got a new egg in there. Maybe? Seems a little strange. We are going to get starving, right? Well, oh no, you guys won't starve. But you guys will. Crammed. Crowded. Looking for food. Yeah, see, here's an example of starving. This might mess things up a little bit because these guys have the ability to breathe. But I think here's what I'm going to do. This hasn't worked out quite what I had thought, but if I do that, what if I did this? We're going to count the meat, but we'll also count the meat of the critters that are in here. Plus, how we'll deal with this is for the eggs, we'll consider the partial amount. And I'll add everything up, and I'll scale basically every egg that we have available. Depending on how far it's been incubated, I'll give it a partial count towards the meat of that critter. And then we'll give a total of each one of these. I think that is going to be the best way to look at this. That way, it doesn't really matter how many are alive here or how many are inside this versus converted to meat and all that. I just want to get a count of basically how much we're getting per critter in general. Okay, that's my plan. So I did a little more investigation around this pip situation, and then I realized, oh, if you have a pip eating thimbleweed seed, it increases the chance of a cuddle pip egg. I did not notice that. Maybe I should have had the arbor trees in there, or had just accepted that this should have been cuddle pip. But this is, where are we? Cycle 93. I just rolled back for a bit, just curious. That explains what was going on. Okay. Well, that shouldn't impact things because we still have, unless this is where things get. How long does a pip live for? 100 cycles. And this is 90. This should be the same pip that we had. Okay, so this should not matter. But if I had ran this for hundreds of cycles, I think this would potentially matter. Because what could have happened is this pip dies off. And then the next pip is not available for a certain amount of time. Or maybe even never. Oh, this would have just ended. We've had puddle, like say this pip that's in here. Eventually is going to starve. And if this guy always just happens to have only cuddle pips. Anyway, that, my brain was melting, but now I understand. I should have had cuddle pips if I was feeding Thimbleweed. Nonetheless, I think I can still tally the total meat. We'll get to just get a general idea of what we're looking at. We are at cycle 100 again, and there's just one other puzzle that I didn't bring up that I'm just confused. How come I have more of these guys, Mammoths, and a lot of the other... I understand why there's more of these guys, because these guys are not starving. That makes sense. Okay. Versus, if you look in the other ones, we've got starving critters. But these guys hatch so much slower. How come I've got more? And then I think I know the answer. Look at one. The total calories of a starting Mammoth is higher. So that means this takes longer to die. So just as many critters has gone through in, say, the hatch stable. It's just the hatches start off with less calories. And, so, therefore, well, in this case, actually, we have a number of them in there. Unless maybe their calories are higher, too. But if you compare, like the Sweetles, for instance, they've got 3. They've got 3. Oh, no, we've got more than 3. Yeah, that could explain why we've got so many friggin' Mammoths. Was not expecting that. Anyway, that's the things I'm learning about this is not the things I thought I was going to be learning about critters and meat. Okay, I think we are ready to do a grand total. Got a cuddle pip going out. And I thought to myself, you know what, instead of counting how many critters, multiplying it, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do an attack on all the critters that are in here. The eggs that are remaining, I'm going to do... the method I mentioned before, which is basically having the partial amounts. So it doesn't matter about this setup whether we have breathing area where they can live longer. At this point, we're taking them out. Oh, don't forget about these guys. So this means any meat that lands here, verify, it's going to be picked up by this. Be added to the counts here. That way we don't have inconsistencies between the two. We're going to have to let this guy out. Move him. Do an attack. Combine all the meat. So we'll leave the original critters that we had for the last 100 cycles. We won't count their meat. But yeah, I'll just let the dupes do a big attack. We're going to get a massive amount of meat over here, for sure. Alright, I'm going to let that play out and come back for the totals. This is where we're getting the most amount of meat, I suspect, from that little hunt. Let's just take a quick sneak peek. 200. Oh no, we've got more. There's more. There's way more. 89. Actually, it's not as much as was down here in the Volmols. Though I think the Volmols, they produce a ton of meat, don't they? 16,000. But their reproductive is 17 versus the reproductive of 8. So that could explain it. Okay, all right. Meat, meat, meat. No wandering critters. No wandering critters. Everything is settled. I'll separate the total meat count versus the eggs, and we'll put it all together here very soon. So let's look at our meat count. So how about we start this time at the top? We'll go with the Flox. Oh, okay. I'm going to consider you an egg, actually. But we've got meat of 19,200 for the Flox. We're going to get 89,600 for the Mammoth. Drecko, we've got 22,400. We have, let's see, 40,000 for the hatch. Sweetle, 27,200. For the Prince Pop, 27,200 again. 20,800 for the Pips. And for the Cheval, we've got 184,000. Now with the eggs, I actually want to roll back to where we started the hunt, because I don't want my numbers to get off, because I want to get the exact 100 count. So that's the meat that I had in the critters in this little section. So I'll roll back to the exact time that we hit the 100 mark to count the eggs. So I have rolled back to the point just before hunting all these critters. And again, the point of that is just to make sure I get the incubation value at the 100 mark. It doesn't matter about the hunted critters, they all get the same amount of meat, but the egg was important. So what I'm doing here is I'm counting the total number of eggs in each of these stables. I'm getting the average incubation value, for instance, 90 plus whatever, divided by the number of eggs. And then I'm timesing that by the amount of meat you get per critter, and you can find that out by going down here and seeing how much critter drops. And that's essentially the potential meat, or the meat that I'll get once all the eggs hatch and then those critters themselves get attacked. So this is what I get, and I'm expressing it in I'm going to put all the numbers in the description, so if you want the full details, I'm not going to list all those here, but the final number I get when you express it in terms of how many critters you need per duplicant, assuming duplicant needs 1,000 calories a cycle. For the Flox, you need 4.46. For the Mammoth, 0.75 Mammoths per critter or per dupe. Drecko is 3.6. Then we've got the hatch at 2.2. Sweetle is 3.35. Prince Puff is 2.28. Pip is 4.4. And the Drecko, or the Shovel rather, is about a half. Ooh, okay. A lot went into that. Again, the full description or full details will be in the description. I'm just going to see if there's any final things I may want to look at. Okay, I have final comments. First of all, the numbers that I listed there are expressed in terms of meat, assuming you're eating meat. Most likely you're either making barbecue meat, Pemmican, Frostburger, or something. So I'm going to put a column in the output of how many critters you need if you're eating different type of or cooked meat, which is going to be a little, well, significantly less. The other thing is I was thinking about running another 100 cycles, and I thought I might give you guys a time to write some comments. Maybe I'll come up with an idea of how to alter this test. You know, change things to get perhaps more accurate results or anything. But this is what I've gotten from my test of going through 100 cycles with various stables with different type of food growing and critters in each of them. And what I got in terms of meat, in terms of eggs, and the total together, the potential meat and eggs all together. Oh my goodness, it has been a bit. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you'll like, subscribe. That'll motivate me to make more of these crazy tests in Oxygen Not Included. And again, if you do have any thoughts on how I might do anything different, or maybe completely different experiment in Oxygen Not Included, could inspire me to go in a completely different direction. All right, Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time.